So I'll take a class called as square and public static void main and then hit enter. For this, I'm going to take float, length, area, perimeter. Okay. And then I want to use default constructor. So in this, what we'll be using is constructor name and the class name should be same. And constructor is not a property, it is a method. It will not have any return type. Return type in the sense here you have void main or int main, something like that. It doesn't have it. So in the square, I'm just going to write length will be equal to 0. If you want to give 4, 5, whatever, you can give that. So the default constructor, we have it here. Now, if I'm having, let us say, void display, in display, let me just print length. Okay, what happens here? We have to take a object. How do you create an object? We are going to create an object with square because the name of the class is square. When you do this, if there is any default constructor, it is going to call this. Length will become 0. Now what we are going to do, we are going to give s dot display. If you run this, you will notice that length is equal to 0. What will happen if I give 3? Then the length will be equal to 3. Now, if I want a parameterized constructor in the sense I want to make sure that I pass one parameter. So I'm going to take here as int L. Whatever length I'm going to pass, I'm going to keep in the length. That is, if 10 I'm passing, length will be 10. Okay, now what will happen? Let us see. This is one object that we created. Since I didn't pass any parameter here, it will go to the default constructor. What is the next one? This is called as parameterized constructor. Okay, now in this part, where did I go? Here, if I'm going to give S1 of new square and S1 dot display, if you run this, you will notice the first one. Okay, here I had to give some value. I'll give 66. Okay, this one called the default constructor where the length was 3. So when you give S dot display, length is equal to 3. The second one, you have initialized with one parameter, that is 66. 66 goes here, length will be equal to 66, hence you are printing length. Okay. Now what if I had a function called as calculate? So I'll have void calc. In this, I'm going to calculate area is equal to length into length. And perimeter is equal to 4 into length. I might want to add these two in the display function. So what I'll do, here, I'm going to make it as area. I'm going to make it as perimeter. Okay, we'll run this. These are coming from the first part, that is length is equal to 3. However, the problem here is we had to get area as length into length, right? That is 3 into 3 and perimeter as these two things are not working. Why? That is because before you give a display, you need to use a calculate function that is part of ss dot calc. Okay, here as well, we are going to give s1 dot calc. Just to make sure that we have a separation between these two, I'm just going to write 1 dash. Okay, now if you run this is for the first one, this is for the second one. Here it went to the default one. In default, I have given length as 3. So 3 into 3 is 9, 4 into 3 is 12. The next one was 66. Okay, this is default constructor. This is parameterized constructor. Since both the function names are same, the parameter is different. You have also involved constructor overloading, one part of the polymorphism in this. Okay.